Hello and welcome to this virtual postgraduate welcome week. I'm Mark Reed and would like to give you an overview of the outreach and public engagement activities that we run from the School of Chemistry and the opportunities available to you to help contribute to their delivery, providing you with valuable experience, not only for those of you considering a career in teaching, but also to hone the skills of public presentation and engage the general public with your passion for your area of research. I'll give an overview of last year's activities to give you a flavour of the types of events that we run and the opportunities available. You'll notice that we reach a wide audience, from primary schools during National Science Week to giving the general public a pint of science from a brewery in Digbeth. Well, the aim of outreach is to inspire and engage the next generation of scientists, to inspire GCSE students to take A-level chemistry as one of their options when they go to the sixth form, and also to encourage sixth formers to read chemistry at university, hopefully at the University of Birmingham, and we do link in with the admissions activities. Also to give school students the practical experience. There are some schools that don't do enough practicals, maybe they don't have equipment or timetabling doesn't allow. So certainly we try and give that experience, which is important in chemistry. And that's done by either taking equipment to the schools or inviting the schools to practical sessions within our CTL. We also engage the general public to promote awareness of chemistry and also the roles of chemists in solving topical issues, from energy to healthcare to sustainability. So the types of activities that we do are twofold. We visit schools where academic staff provide topical lectures or careers talks, and as you'll see later, we're part of the RSC scheme with the spectroscopy in a suitcase, to actually take a portable FTIR spectrometer into the classroom and give A-level students practical experience about running their own infrared, interpreting the spectra as well. And that links in with the A-level syllabus. But we also host events here at the university and our CTL, and that really is to demystify the university and provide a taster for undergraduate experience. We hold or host various events when the teaching labs in the CTL are available, typically at the end of term and in the break. Some examples of this include the spectroscopy masterclasses that we run, the hydrogen fuel cell workshop, and Solstice Festival, among other competitions. Last year, quite proud to hold an international event where we hosted the national final of the Royal Society Chemistry's Top of the Bench competition, where over 30 schools competed for the national title. We also take part in main exhibitions such as the NEC, where we had a stand where we promoted chemistry as a science and also the skills of the analytical chemist within this environment. As well as reaching out to schools and activities, we also engage with teachers through various CPD events, and last year, for example, we took part in the ASE Teachers Conference. We had various stands and we promoted the types of activities we do, our CPD activities for teachers, as well as just trying to engage with local chemistry teachers and identify sixth forms of interest. We also contribute to National Chemistry and Science Weeks. For example, last year, during National Chemistry Week, I was at the National Space Centre in Leicester giving various talks and workshops on spectroscopy and the stars. We also, during the National Science Week, ran a variety of events at primary schools to engage the younger generation, inspire them young to start reading and looking about science. These, of course, were very hands-on, giving inspirational demonstrations, etc. Now, I mentioned the Royal Society of Chemistry's Top of the Bench competition. This is an analytical competition that requires both a practical component that's held in our CTL and also a quiz, a chemistry quiz held by the competing teams. There are various stages. We first of all, around October, November, have a preliminary round where typically 20 or 30 schools apply. From here in January we have a regional final with the West Midlands Chemistry Teachers Centre and the local section RSC. And then from there we select one school to represent the region to go forward to the national final. Last year we did this in collaboration with the University of Coventry, where we simultaneously held 2 events, and from there we chose the one winner from the 2. And for these events, we're always interested in students to volunteer, not only to give a talk to the students halfway through about their research or a topical subject, but also to help do some judging, shepherd the students around, and generally help out with the overall smooth running of the day. We also run Salters Institute competitions, typically during the Easter break. And the Salters Festival of Chemistry, our initiative, and the objective is to help promote the appreciation of chemistry and related sciences amongst the young. It involves both a quiz, a problem-solving exercise, and a practical component that the Year 8s and Year 9s have to achieve. This is marked and held in our CTL, and again we're looking for volunteers to help be part of this, to give a topical talk in the middle, for example, a little bit like the top of the bench, but also to help judge the competition too. For the Year 8-9 students, this really gives them the experience of being in a university lab, handling university equipment, although typically the exercise involves chromatography or flame tests, things that they're familiar with, but putting it into a different context and some problem solving that they have to achieve. You can see here some of the flame tests that are used. We also have quite an inspiring and engaging demonstration lecture that's given to the students while we do the judging. And at the end you can see our Head of Education, Dr. Snaith, awarding the prizes for the winning schools. And as I mentioned, these are typically held in the Easter break once term is over, so that the labs are free and we can host all the schools in the one CTL wet lab. We're also part of the West Midlands Chemistry Teachers Centre, and through the provision of sixth form lectures in the evening and teachers CPD, again we reach not only sixth form chemistry students but the teachers within the region too. The talks are typically held in the Howarth building, although this year we're going to do a series of webinars over Zoom. One has been successfully held, and actually it's been quite a useful exercise because we can reach more students than just the local area. Schools don't have the inconvenience of travelling or the cost of a minibus, for example. So in fact, moving these sixth form lectures to webinars has actually increased our numbers in this area. In addition to sixth form lectures, we also host a quiz, a sixth form quiz, and this traditionally was held in the Howarth building, but again we're going to do it online this year. And again, schools compete for a trophy provided by the RSC local section and the West Midlands Chemistry Teachers Centre. There's a wide programme of talks, and as you can see here, some of them has some very flashbang demonstrations and really make use of our facilities. The Spectroscopy in Suitcase is an initiative by the RSC where we actually have a portable FTIR Bruker Alpha spectrometer that we take into the schools, and the idea is to help the teacher involved in this part of the syllabus, and it could occur at the end of year 12 or the beginning of year 13, and it's really to teach these infrared spectroscopy, which at A-level can be quite dry when you're just looking at spectra and looking at the theory. The aim of this workshop is for the students to have their own samples, to run them on our spectrometer, have a printout of the spectra, and then we go through the interpretation of the spectra as well. So it links to the theory and the syllabus that they need to know for A-level, but in a practical and engaging way. And quite often we find the feedback is amazing from these events where school pupils really click. You have this light bulb moment when they actually see an instrument, they understand how it's used in the industrial and research context, but they can actually get a result there and then. They understand where the spectrum comes from, and it really helps in their identification as well. With the Spectroscopy in Suitcase, we've gone to a variety of schools, from the South Malvern up to sort of Keele and the Stafford area, and as I mentioned, the schools have been really positive in their feedback. The part of the success really is taking student ambassadors with us that describe their journey into academia, why they chose to read chemistry, how they transitioned from A-level to degree and to degree to PhD, and why they're looking at the particular research topic. So it's really beneficial to have postgraduate students here at these events, not just to help for the workshop, but to answer those questions to sixth form students so they can actually see their path into university. As you can see, we go to a variety of schools, a whole spectrum of classes. Typically they're chemistry labs, but we've performed this exercise, this event, in assembly halls, down to an outside activity as well. In addition to schools, I mentioned earlier, we also do public engagement, where we just try and improve the reputation of chemistry and engage with the general public and sort of demystify the role of the chemist, but also show some of the important research that we do within the department and how it's solving some of the topical concerns of the day. Some of the events, for example, include the Chemistry at Work events. We've also held events in the evening at the Birmingham Science Museum, the think tank, where we've had workshops, talks, and again just trying to engage with our research. We've also held events at the Birmingham Science Museum in the Think Tank Late series, for example, where we had workshops and small lectures, demonstrations, and just areas of benches where the general public could come, see our research, engage with a few demos, and talk to the researchers as well to try and demystify some of the work that we're doing. So one of the Pint of Science talks was about nuclear energy. We had the theme called A Nuclear Day within the Digbeth Brewery, and the subject was to really kind of demystify nuclear energy, look at the viable clean energy options to reduce our carbon emissions, to look at sustainability as well. Now, nuclear energy obviously is quite an emotive topic that polarises the audience generally, but it was a really interesting debate. We had some excellent questions. The question section actually went on longer than the talk, but it was a really good informal environment, and a lot of people gave some excellent feedback that they've actually learnt a lot and understood a lot more now than when they did. So again, trying to make a difference to the general public's understanding of chemistry and the role within the energy sector. I mentioned that our outreach activities also link into our admissions activities, and during open days, for example, within the School of Chemistry, we have interactive demonstrations. Ray Pleavy here, you can see doing his magic show, and again it's to inspire not only the candidates looking to apply to Birmingham, but the parents, the siblings, the other people that come along as well. And we've also given quite a few Christmas lectures as well, with interactive demonstrations, linking energy, spectroscopy, the stars, how can we fuel Santa's sleigh, typically for Year 7, Year 8 students. We also get a lot of support for the Royal Society of Chemistry local section that sponsors quite a few of our activities, and also holds sessions such as the Chemistry at Work series, where this is a very good series that is held at the Black Country Living Museum, RF Cosford, and the National Space Centre at Leicester, where the role of the chemist, the careers in chemistry are really explained. So a bit of a careers talk, but also a plug for chemistry as well. And in addition to visiting many schools, both nationally and around the West Midlands area, we do give a lot of support for our local schools, such as the University of Birmingham School just down the road, where we give quite a few careers talks, back in the suitcase, demonstration visits as well. So if you'd like to be a part of this, we obviously give you training. You can pick up and do as much or as little as you like. You can start off just by observing some of the events, then giving a little talk, for example, becoming engaged and involved. And typically with this spectroscopy and suitcase, people start off by observing a session, then they start to say, well, actually I can show how to run the instrument. They then start talking to the students, getting engaged, and before they know it, they're actually giving some other talks as well. So it's really encouraging to see how people develop and gain confidence. We do give training, but a lot of it comes naturally as well. But in addition to this, we also would recommend you become a STEM ambassador, and that is a national scheme. Your only requirement is to do one unpaid event a year. And that gives you wider access to STEM activities. You have DBS clearance, and it sort of puts your outreach activities on a sort of professional footing as well. So hopefully that wide range of events has inspired you to maybe get involved at whatever level, and whether you're giving a talk, you want to give a talk here, you just want to help out with one of the activities, please get in touch. Do let us know, because we're always looking for volunteers. We'll advertise the events that are coming up, but if you want to be proactive, please do and contact us. So I'd like to give thanks here to the local section, all the people that host our outreach events, our STEM ambassadors, of course our student volunteers, without whom none of this really would be possible. So it'd be great if you'd like to be involved and keep the momentum going in our outreach activities. If you have any questions, please do feel free to contact me, call me, and I can discuss any ideas you have for events or what events you would like to do. Well, thank you very much for your attention. As I say, I hope this has inspired you, and I hope to see you at some of our outreach events soon. Thank you very much.